Assalamu alaikum. So there is a brief talk on entrepreneurial opportunities in the field of energy in Pakistan. So before we go into the detailed discussion on what are the opportunities in the energy sector, we first understand what entrepreneurship is. And most of us have this false understanding of entrepreneurship being something only related to making money. And this is obvious from the fact that if I ask somebody a question about the top three entrepreneurs that they know, maybe in today's world or maybe in the known history, then the first three answers that normally come out are Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, and then Alibaba, and then of course Elon Musk, and all these people, which makes us think that maybe entrepreneurship is only related to technological advancements and then making money out of that. But that is not true. So if you look at the literature of entrepreneurship and the common understanding that exists in the society, it is more related to the behavior and attitudes of people rather than making money. So, for example, we might question, why can't we call Easy Saab an entrepreneur? Why can't we say that Hakim Muhammad Saeed was an entrepreneur? Yeah, Muhammad Ali Jinnah was an entrepreneur. And the reason why we must understand and why we must call these people entrepreneurs is because entrepreneurship is an attitudinal thing. It's a behavioral thing. It's not the capability of making money, which means that if you look at a problem in the society and you have the solution that you can provide, then you can qualify to be an entrepreneur. But if you just talk about these things, do not implement them, and then sleep over them after discussing them during the night with your friends, then you could be creative, you might come up with creative ideas, but unless and until you implement those ideas to bring innovation, to bring something physical in existence, you cannot qualify to be an entrepreneur. So that leads us to an understanding that entrepreneurship is not related to making money. It's not about only about creating new business, although the predominant understanding in the literature, in research, and normally in the society is of creating new businesses, which is not false, which is also true, but that is not the only understanding. So this is what needs to be understood. One of the things that we say is associated with entrepreneurship is finding your own capabilities. So as Iqbal says, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे बता तेरी रजा क्या है. What does that mean? What is khudi? So khudi is something which is related to yourself. So if you have explored yourself and you have found your strengths, then we might say that you have found your khudi. And once you have found your khudi, you excel in it. And one of the things that is required for a good entrepreneurial venture is a skill, and in addition to that, the passion. And this skill and passion only comes when you have found your khudi. So if you are starting a business only because you saw somebody getting successful in that business, then this might not qualify to be an entrepreneurial venture, because you're not actually creating something unique out of your capabilities and skills. So there is one more aspect of entrepreneurship. And then there are a few things that need to be understood when you try to create a venture. The first thing is that it is always better that you use the birds in hand. Birds in hand, as it is said in English, that the birds in hand, a bird in hand is better than the two in the bush. What that means in terms of entrepreneurship is that try to focus on the resources that are available to you, rather than running after the resources that others have and you do not have. In today's world, the Silicon Valley model says that you have to come with an idea and then raise some funding for that idea. So all that funding comes from a venture capitalist, from the investors who invest in your idea, and then you implement that idea, and then you of course, I mean, sometimes you become successful, in some cases you become a failure. But in this case, you're borrowing money from somebody else. So the bird in hand principle says that you must try to first of all establish the proof of concept with the money that you own, that has not been given to you through some conditions by attaching some strings. so that that person also gets benefited. I mean, there's no harm in giving benefit, but when you engage other people in resources, then your ideas become limited. So if you have your own resources, you'll be flexible. You will have the liberty of doing whatever you want with the idea that you're trying to implement. So this is one aspect. Try to focus on the bird in hand, and things one of the things that one of the things that can be included in bird in hand is your network. It is said your network is your net worth. So which means if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, try to increase the number of people in your network. Try to make more friendships. Try to contact with people. Try to socialize more. Meet more and more people, so that you can develop connections. You can come up with new ideas, and you can become more creative. So this is one of the things that is required. Another thing that is normally talked about in entrepreneurship is the risk-taking attitude. So in the traditional understanding of business, it is said no risk, no gain. Bigger the risk, bigger the reward. But the new theories in entrepreneurship are contradicting these facts, and they say that you must try to stick to an affordable loss. Affordable loss means that do not spend all you have in trying a new idea. Try to only spend that which, if gets wasted, and if you fail, it does not affect too much, too significantly on your normal lifestyle. Which means if you have 100,000 rupees saved, try to invest 20,000 first, and then see how it goes. If it goes well, you can increase the amount, you can spend more. But if it doesn't, then you still have 80,000 rupees left, which you can invest in maybe other new ideas. And if those 20,000 rupees do not work, then you have actually learned new things. So as Iqbal again says, tu chupa chupa ke na rakh ise, तेरा आईना है वो आईना जो शिकस्ता हो तो अजीज तर है निगाह आईना साज में. What does that mean? One of the things that I take out from this verse as an entrepreneur is that you should not be shy from failing. And if you fail, then do not try to hide those failures from others, because these failures give you a lot of new learning, some novel ideas which you can try again. So failures are good, and this is again one of the things that is associated with entrepreneurship. Do not be fearful of failures. Try new things, new experiences, be more creative, then try new things again. There's going to be a time when you are successful. So this was briefly about entrepreneurship. Now let's move to the entrepreneurial the opportunities in the energy sector. So in energy sector, new trends are coming in, and most of the people are now talking about renewable energy. So all those traditional forms of energy, coal burning, or all these hydrocarbon burnings, they are now getting obsolete, and there's going to be a time when these things will not be available anymore. So which means we have to move towards a renewable energy technology, and the very concept of entrepreneurship demands that we come up with novel ways of creating energy. So a few novel ways which can be found in the market are, of course, solar energy, wind energy. There's geothermal energy, but we don't find many applications practically. And then there's this wave energy which is being produced out of sea. And then recently we have seen the advent of fuel cell technology. So all these technologies do exist, but when it comes to Pakistan, we also have to see the practical feasibility of these things. And we can clearly see that one of the things that is in plenty of supply in Pakistan is sunlight. The intensity of this sunlight is also quite suitable for solar panels. As far as the technology is concerned, it is there. It can be used, energy can be produced, but in entrepreneurship, one thing is value creation, but another very important and essential part is value delivery. So engineers are very good at creating value. They can come up with new inventions, new ideas, sophisticated things, but when it comes to actually deploying that solution in the market, there comes the challenge of entrepreneurship. And then in this case, there's some proof of concept involved, marketing involved, revenue making involved, and all those things which are associated with business normally. So when it comes to solar technology, we have seen that not many people have adopted it. And one of the reasons that can commonly be found is that its capital cost is quite high. So that because of this capex, people normally avoid it. And then the battery technology is also not that advanced nowadays. I think Elon Musk is creating new technology in his gigafactory, both in USA and China now. But I think the time is still quite time before it becomes commercialized and is available to all the people. So how do we implement the solar panel business in Pakistan? I think we can find an example in the form of Solar City. Solar City is a company that was created by Elon Musk, and in that company, Elon also realized that one of the biggest hurdles in the adoption of solar energy generation is the capital cost. And he came up with some intelligent business models. So he has two or three options. The first option is, of course, you can purchase the entire technology and keep it in your house and create energy out of that. So all those cash rich people who have deep pockets can do that. But most of the people are not that affluent, which means they require some different combination of the offerings that Solar City was giving them. And then there's another option. So another option that Elon gave was leasing the technology, which means that the things are deployed at your house. You start creating energy, but then you have to pay an installment of the cost of the technology, and after some time, when you end up paying all the installment, the technology is going to be in your ownership. And then of course you can have maintenance and everything which is required later on. And then there was the third option. This third option is quite interesting, and I think if there are some people who have the understanding of this technology in Pakistan, they can adopt this option. And this option was related to renting out these things. So the entire system that was deployed to these American houses was in the ownership of Solar City, but these people were only using it and were paying the bills against that use. And that bill, needless to say, was less than what they were paying by when they were using the electricity from the central grid. Another positive aspect of this application was that if there's a house which produces more energy than it can utilize, that energy is going to be contributed towards the central grid, and for that they are going to actually get the money back. So there is another advantage in this technology. Now the question arises: can we actually do that in Pakistan? And the answer is yes. There's a technology of net metering that is in place, and NEPRA is actually issuing licenses for that technology. And there are people. There's an entire list of people who have obtained that license. So on the NEPRA website, if you go there, you can find that list of people. So I think basically the lack of awareness that people don't know that these things exist, and there's also a hesitation of trying new technology and taking risk, because electricity is something which you do not want to have a lot of disruption in. So but again, coming back to the same point, that the main hurdle is capital cost. So we can learn from Solar City, and we can adopt this model to maybe deliver the solar energy generation technology to the masses. So if they're paying less than what they're paying to WABDA or to Karachi Electric in our case, and I think they'll be happy. And since they don't have to pay any upfront cost, they'll again be happier. But so the entire thing, the maintenance, the ownership is kept by the company, and the company takes the bills. So it's a win-win situation in which company also makes a profit, and people also get facilitated with cheap energy. And plus, of course, it's an eco-friendly solution because you're creating green energy. So which is again another tick in the feasibility of this project. When it comes to other types of energy generation, then one of the types could be biogas. In our countries, we produce a lot of rubbish, a lot of waste, and all the organic waste can actually be used to create biogas, and biogas then eventually be used to burn and to create energy. The richest source of methane when it comes to biogas is human solid waste. And I think in every city there are these nalas in which all that dirty water goes into the rivers and into the sea. So an entrepreneurial venture could be filtering out this dirty water to the sludge that comes out of that dirty water, then can be decayed in pits, and in those pits gas can be produced, and that can be again deployed through the network to the households and wherever it is required. Some people are doing this in isolation at different places, and examples can be found, I think, throughout Pakistan in different areas, even in villages. But I don't know any big venture capitalist who has invested in this technology to create a big business. So I see in Karachi there's a Liari river in which all the sludge goes to the sea, and it creates a very dirty environment, very smelly. And so if we come up with this venture which filters this sludge and creates a biogas out of that, I think that could be a win-win situation again, because we'll create a cleaner environment and at the same time we'll be producing some green energy. So these could be some of the opportunities in Pakistan. But of course, I mean, the science always comes up with new ideas and new technology. So it is incumbent on an entrepreneur to keep looking at those things, and in addition to what has been discovered and is implemented, try to find out new ways. Thank you very much.